Yo, what's up TGM and welcome back to another Nihongo video. Guys, if you hear any barking in the background, I'm sorry because my street is like kind of busy right now, and they won't stop, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get this out for you guys because I'm also gonna be doing the cut for you guys. And if you haven't already, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you share my content. I never know who I can actually motivate or actually inspire. And you guys, last video I told you guys I'm going to be doing a conjugation video for my next Japanese video. Conjugation will have to have a video of its own, so here it is. This video might be relatively short, but I'm actually going to try to make it very informative for you guys. So back to lesson 3, around page 87, and if you don't have the book, you guys can follow along. I'm going to be reading straight from the book. So starting with verb conjugation, it says there's 3 groups of verbs, those being ru verbs, u verbs, and irregular verbs. Ru verbs are made up of a base end ending with e or either I, like basically ru, right? So all ru verbs that end with idu or idu, or I would teach you how to conjugate it, basically. So in order to know that they're not ru verbs, then they don't need to be idu, okay? Make sure they're not iru. Make sure they're kind of like eru, something like taberu, neru, okiru, miru. And it says right here. So if you say, excuse me, actually, no, forget what I said about iru. So it says, so if you see a verb that ends with aru, oru, or uru, you can be sure that they are not ru verbs. And it gives examples right here, like I just read to you guys: taberu, neru, okiru, miru. And basically, u verbs, it says u verbs are made up of a consonant final base. Plus u. And this is an example, nonu, and know that kayeru ends with an iru sequence, but it is not a ru verb because kayeru means to return. I believe it means to return. Kayeru is an irregular verb, so it will not be conjugated like a ru verb, even though it has the suffix end of ru. Excuse me. So, with that being said, it says the R sound in kaeru comes from the base, not from the suffix. And some examples for u verbs are nomu, yomu, hanasu, kiku, iku, kaeru. So in irregular verbs, there are 2 irregular verbs and more, but I'm not going to get into more right now. I'm only going to get into these 2, which is suru and kuru. And suru is a very productive element. Benkyou suru is an example of a complex verb formed by a noun in suru. Basically, what they're trying to say, suru means to do or to be able to do something. Benkyou shimasu basically means to study. Benkyou suru means you are studying, you're able to study, right? So suru, benkyou suru, and kuru. So now we got the present tense conjugation. Present tense basically being, of now. So we have the dictionary form taberu, remember, and neru, okiru, and miru. The present affirmative, which is the present positive version of this, will be tabemasu and neemasu, okimasu, mimasu. In the present negative, it would be masen, tabemasen, neemasen, okimasen, mimasen. So basically, tabemasen means I will eat. Neemasu means I will get up. No, it means I will sleep. My bad. Okimasu means I will get up. Mimasu means I will see, or I will watch, or I will look. Present negative basically means the opposite. So basically, tabemasen would basically mean I will not eat. And basically, neemasen basically means I will not sleep. Also, mimasen basically means I will not watch, I will not look, nor will I go see. So, u verbs will end with imasen. It's a little more difficult, but not more difficult than irregular verbs because there are so many irregular verbs. Sometimes you can get those mixed up because we have kayeru, then we have other verbs that's just like kayeru, but I'm not gonna get into that yet. I don't want to confuse you guys. So let's go home. Let's go ahead with u verbs. With u verbs, you replace the u with imas or imasen. You can think of the change as going up and down in the same hiragana column, shifting between mi in the column mami mu me mo, for example. So this is the dictionary form of some u verbs: nomu, sumu, hanasu, kiku, iku. This is the present affirmative, the present positive. So nomimasen, I will drink. Yomimasen, I will read. Hanashimasu, hanashimasu. So by now you should know your alphabet, right? So she ends with shi, and it goes to imas. So basically it would say I will speak or I will talk. Hanashimasu, kikimasu, ikimasu. And we have the present negative, which is nomimasen, yomimasen, hanashimasen, kikimasen, ikimasen. Sorry, my voice is getting a little hoarse. So basically, it will basically be the opposite, and these will basically mean I will go. I will go. Ikimasen. Ikimasen, I will not go. Ikimasu, I will go. And we have right here, nomimasu, I will drink. Nomimasen, I will not drink. Yomimasen, I will drink. Hanashimasu, I will talk. Hanashimasen, I will not talk. So now we're getting into irregular verbs. So kayeru is an u verb, not a ru verb, even though the suffix ends with a ru. Just like I told you guys earlier in the video, it doesn't come from the suffix, it comes from the base of the sound when you're speaking. So kayeru is an u verb. The verb base final consonant R is kept in the present tense conjugation. So instead of kaimasu, we have a kaerimasu. So, and like I told you guys, kaerimasu means to return. Kuru means to come. There is a difference, right? To come basically you're coming from a place, and to return is basically to a destination you're already coming from. So with that, the dictionary form kaeru, the present affirmative for kaeru would be kaerimasu. Present negative would be kaerimasen. So the dictionary form suru, present form is shimasu. And shimasu is basically like an in root. You can actually just add it to whatever you want. You know, like bikkyo shimasu. Now you get what I'm saying. Bikkyo shimasu. Basically it means suru, but it's also conjugated already. So the present negative of that is bikkyo shimasen. I will not study. So and then we have, see right here, bikkyo suru. That's the dictionary form. And now we have bikkyo shimasu, I will study. Bikkyo shimasen, I will not study. Kuru, which means to come. The present affirmative for that is kimasu. Like I said, you can add it as a root to words, and then we have kimasen. So next page, now we're talking about verb tense and the present tense. So it says make sure you remember which verb belongs to which conjugation class. Uru. So we have taberu, mas, and masen. Then we have u verbs, which would be imas, imasen. Irregular verbs, rimas. An example of that would be kaeru. So kaeru, kaerimasen, and kaeri. Kaerimasu, excuse me. Because basically it's an u verb, so it would be conjugated as an u verb, right? So that would be imasen, imasen. So now we're getting here. So it says, it is a good idea, therefore, to memorize each verb as a set instead of memorizing just the dictionary form. Try to memorize the dictionary form in the present tense affirmative. Like, so you have iku, that's the present, that's the dictionary form of to go. So iku. So I'll say iku. But I wouldn't use iku like plainly in a sentence like that. I will conjugate it like ikimasen. I will not go. But we have right here, ikimasu, I will go. To recap the rules for telling which verb that ends with hiragana ru belongs to which class, we note that if a verb ends with aru or oru, it is definitely an u verb. Uru, it can either be an irregular verb or an u verb. Iru or edu is more likely to be a ru verb, but it can also be an u verb. And here you go right here. I'm going to show you guys right there what I was reading at the top, if you guys can really see that. So now we have here verb types and present tense, like I said a few minutes ago. In this lesson, we learned about dozen verbs that describe basic human actions. These are often called action verbs and the present tense. Of these verbs either means that a person habitually or regularly engages in these activities, or 2, that a person will or is planning to perform these activities in the future. So this is the habitual action. So the definition of this is I often watch TV. So it says watashi wa yoku terebi o mimasu. So that basically means I often watch TV. I often watch TV. So I'll say it slowly this time. So it says watashi wa yoku terebi o mimasu. Watashi wa I yoku often or sometimes, well no, tokidoki means sometimes. Yoku meaning often. Watashi wa yoku terebi o mimasu. And the definition for the second sentence, it says Mary sometimes doesn't eat breakfast. So basically you expect to see tokidoki, and you would say does not eat breakfast. You would see asa gohan and tabimasen. So we're gonna read it. Mary-san wa tokidoki asa gohan o tabimasen. Like I said. So now future actions, we're going to explain future actions now. The definition of this sentence I'm going to read to you guys is I will go to Kyoto today. So it says watashi wa ashita Kyoto ni ikimasu. And I'm going to show you guys that right there. It's around right here. The sentence I was reading right there. I'm going to go ahead and read the second one for you guys. It says Sora will not return home today. So expect to see kaerimasen. So it says Sora-san wa kyou uchi ni kaerimasen. Like I told you guys, kaeru is conjugated like an u verb, so basically that's how you would use them. So it's SOV, subject, then the objective, then the verb. The subject will be placed first, the object is basically the particle, and the verb, what I was reading to you guys, will always come last. Like these sentences I'm reading to you guys right now, like Sora-san wa kyou uchi ni Sora-san wa kyou uchi ni kaerimasen. Excuse me. So now we're going to get, so I'm gonna get into particles on another video, because particles are kind of, I can explain particles a little bit, but we're going to be using different particles. And then you have particles for, okay, so you have particles for objectives, describing the objectives, like watashi wa o terebi. So like o terebi, it basically means you would place the subject and then what you were doing with the TV. You know, also like say I'm watching TV. So I was basically saying watashi wa. So no, I wouldn't use watashi wa. I would probably use boku wa. So I'm watching TV, right? So I would say boku wa o terebi mimasu. That basically means I'm watching TV, right? So because you place the object, not the object, yeah, the object, you place the particle. You would place the particle of o right in front of that verb, and then it would transfer to that right there. So boku wa terebi o mimasu. Yeah, I said that wrong the first time. I said boku o terebi mimasu. Okay, so now what I want you guys to do is actually kind of practice this. So I am actually gonna skip a page right here. I have a few more minutes with you guys, and I'm gonna let you go. So we have practice right here for these verbs. And the verbs are right here. We have expression notes and everything, but you know the basically the practices right here is, you know, conjugating taberu, tabimasen. It basically wants you to kind of describe things, kind of get some more practice in. You're getting familiarized. They want you to memorize the dictionary form and the conjugated form. So like I said, as for sentences, let's say a subject. So a subject will basically be an object, a noun, basically. So let's say, let's say a bowl or a car, which would be kuruma in Japanese. So a car. Let's say I am watching the car or something like that. So I would say kuruma, that's the subject first, or kuruma o mimasu. But in order to really, get my point across, I would say boku wa kuruma o mimasu. I'm watching the car. I'm not watching the car. You would basically just change the sentence to mimasen. Boku wa kuruma o mimasen. That's how, that's how that would go. And you would basically do the same thing for everything else. But if I'm not using a ru verb, it would be conjugated differently. Right now I'm using miru. So a u verb would basically be like iku. So ikimasu or ikimasen. I will go to the park. which should be koi. So it should be koi. Koin, I believe it's koin. So koin. Boku wa koen no ikimasen. I will not go to the park. Or boku wa koen no ikimasu. I will go to the park. So like I said last video, uchi means our house, ie means someone else's house. So now I'm gonna use this irregular verb in my own way. So you would basically kind of want to do this because remember now it's conjugated like kaerimasu and kaerimasen. It's conjugated like an u verb, but it's kind of different. So this is how this would go. So let's say I'm coming back home. I'm returning home, right? So I would say if I'm returning home, boku wa uchi. Uchi is a noun, a place or a thing. Uchi is a house, right? So uchi o kaerimasen. Not coming home. I'm not coming home. Boku wa uchi o kaerimasen. Change that to a positive, it will be kaerimasu. So now you don't want to come out too strongly. So if you come out too strongly, it will basically kind of sound like sound kind of rough. You would kind of be like ore wa uchi o kaerimasen. You basically kind of be like that. You know, you want to come off lightly. You want to come off nicely, especially when you're kind of not teaching, but kind of when you're talking to new people, right? But that's the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So if you watched all the way to the end, thank you very much. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, share my content. And like again, I said, I never know who I can motivate, and my foot is going to sleep right now. I can't wait to show you guys particles tomorrow because particles is very different. We have particles for time locations, particles for like a time location, but that location is not permanent. You're still moving around, so you would use a different particle if you're still moving around and that's not your permanent location. It's difficult. But I just use off, which is kind of like this. No, it's kind of like this, but it's actually this one right here. So I want you guys to go home, practice your chart, practice these dictionary forms. So, and I will see you guys next time I upload. Peace.